Welcome. I want to share with you this conversion I recently finished on this HO Bachmann 44 tonner. It all began with the purchase of this Santa Fe version I purchased at a local train show for about $60. When I finally got around to it, I removed the shell and located the DCC decoder that comes with this locomotive. But from the start, it was my intention to swap it out with a Lock Sound 5 decoder and mini speaker. And in the following photo here are the two elements that I used for this conversion. Decoder on top, speaker package on the bottom. It was originally my plan to keep that Santa Fe locomotive looking as it did. However, I decided to customize it. So I went on to add a primer coat. Next, I sawed out to find a really nice yellow color. Bachmann has a very similar color to this, and I wanted to get as close as possible. Here's a look at that final yellow base color. I was letting it dry a little bit here more, and then in the next shot you'll see that I put the two together in close proximity. I wanted to make sure I had enough layers and coverage for each piece so that they matched and looked well next to each other. Then I went on to add some black to the roof of the cab here. You can see I needed a little touch-up, of which I did do later on. And here is the black top portion to the other piece of the shell. Here I'm just taking a look at adding a new and different looking engineer than the one that comes with the Bachmann. This is a Scene Master figure. Then it was on to decals, and I was very fortunate to find these online, because in the next video you're going to see I was inspired by a photograph and really wanted to make sure I could find the decals needed for this. And lo and behold, I found them and got really close to my inspirational image, as you can see here. And here's a still image of that same finished piece. This was the final photograph before heading on to weathering. So here I started the weathering. I added some chalks, some grimy black, even used a little bit of isopropyl alcohol to rub off some of the painted areas to make it look stained. After the weathering was completed, I began adding details. Here you can see an LED that will operate as a functional beacon. And this image just shows how I ran the wiring up by applying some putty instead of glue. Here are a few more added details. Horn, some scratch-built smokestacks, and way back there's a very small antenna. Here I am taking a look at how it's coming along, seeing if the figure fits in there well, and just taking a little look again to make sure we're headed in the right direction. After that looked pretty good, I then glued and finalized getting our engineer in there just right. And here's a video that I made Just kind of taking a look at all sides. There's all the details are in. There's even some new windshield wipers I applied and replaced. And coming up, you'll see there's some ditch lights down on the lower front and back of this. The final product has an operating beacon and operating ditch lights. Here I show how I ran the LED wiring for those ditch lights. Took a little bit of finagling, but we got there. And here's kind of a close-up of those ditch lights. You can see there's an area of yellow. This is before the covers were placed on. And here's just one more photo, taking a look at the progress. Now we have to pop the cab back off here and finish off the wiring for our beacon and ditch lights. As you can see here, the green AUX 1 is for the beacon, and then the purple AUX 2 went to the ditch lights. And here is a photo of those both in operation with some scratch-built ladders. And here it is in full operation with sound. Thank you. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I just like sharing and creating and doing really neat things with some of these small switchers, especially Bachmann. Bachmann has some smooth running motors, and I love little switcher critter type locomotives. They're my favorite, and we don't see a whole lot of them manufactured out there, and it's really fun to convert these. So once again, thank you, and we shall have more videos in the future, I hope, and we'll share some more creative and fun things here on model railroading makeovers.